Game number 1 in our first best of 3 today at the WCS Korea. To the top right, we have the Slayers player. In the red, it is
Slayers Genius.
He dubbed himself the Genius. He finds himself quite intelligent.
He looks intelligent.
He does.
Actually, I'm actually very interested in how he would look with glasses.
Wow. That's too much.
Too much intelligence. We can't stomach that.
His intelligence, man, his stats maxed out. Where's those? His opponent in the blue, though, of course, for the team Startail, named himself after a Pokemon. His ID is
Startail Squatter.
Skrill has a pretty sick record in Protoss vs. Protoss with a 63% win ratio. Is actually looking really good. And a couple of Australian fans here at the studio.
You know, I have seen more Australian fans in the studio than ever before during WCS. And it's funny because a lot of them just missed WCS Australia as a result. I was thinking about that yesterday when I was watching, and I was like, well, that's kind of ironic.
The Zerg vs. Zerg tournament.
That was fun to watch, though. Moonglade looking really sick, really dominant in that. By the way, I just have to say, I made a tweet about this yesterday, but I think I want to persuade Blizzard to do WCS like once a year, once every 2 years, because this is like such a cool global tournament that's so well run. Every single area of the world has such good production, and it's kind of like a good way to see who's the best of where they're from. Really like it.
I think it's kind of a given that this is not a one-time thing.
I think
we will definitely see more WCS competitions. And now, one thing that is pretty interesting to note is that Squiddle lost his last Protoss vs. Protoss. He lost to Tier. And on the other hand, we have Genius with the win, of course, against the Hero again in the TSL 4 qualifier.
Faster second gas coming up for Squirtle in this particular game. Which means he will have his tech up a little bit faster. Going for a faster second gateway as well. May try to push those 3 Stalkers out ASAP.
And on this map, what's pretty interesting right now is exactly what kind of transition they're going for. We will see robotics play for both of them, or is one of them going for the Blink Stalkers. Blink Stalker aggression, a build that we've seen just recently in PvP a lot, especially on this map.
Yeah, this is a pretty good map for it. Even with the mineral line next to the edge of the base, there's still a lot of surface area to blink on. And right now, Genius is cutting out the second gateway out of his build, which means he's going to go for a faster tech. And this is something that Squirtle has the ability to scout right now. He also knows that this means if he wants to rush out the 3 Stalkers, Genius may not have enough units. He's even made the Zealot. That's going to be something he may be able to pick off with his first few units, and he's already starting Chrono Boosting the Warp Gate research. He's going to start that second Stalker right away, and he is going to be putting some pressure on here.
PvP also one of those matchups where it's so much about the micro, and it's actually kind of funny because it's still a little bit of a volatile matchup. It's something that I've witnessed at the GOM house right now. We have a lot of Protoss players over. Mana and the Draco just arrived, both of them playing Protoss. And Mana is kind of laddering it up the entire time. He won every single match so far except for 2 PvPs. That's the only games that he's lost against, I think, Korean Master players at this point. But that was actually really funny. He's like, well, I think I have to work at my mirror match.
I guess that seems to be his weak point right now.
Double Twilight Council.
Yeah, both
of
them. Yep, both of them going for that Twilight Council. And robotics as well coming down for Genius. It indicates he may try to use some Blink Stalker play with an expansion. We'll see what Squirtle's got up his sleeve. Could be a Dark Shrine. It's entirely possible. And it is.
Yeah, there it is.
This is so unfortunate for him because the robotics is already up to Genius.
Exactly. Genius is transitioning right into the robotics facility now, and the Dark Shrine, of course, will have a big problem, or the DRTs at least will have the problem with the Observer. So let's see how that's going to work out for him.
I want to note that Squirtle's also sending his units all over the map, checking for pylons, checking for probes. He really wants to deny any chance of this being scouted, whether it's by Warp Prism or any other way. He just does not want that to be seen. And he's now pushing across the map so he can protect his probe to get that forward pylon up, which is oh so crucial when you go for Dark Templar play. The shorter the distance for the Dark Templar to get in the main, the better chance you have of doing damage.
He wants to place that pylon down as fast as possible, and there it is. The DET Shrine is halfway done. And the robotics robotics facility is also completed. The first observer is already being built. And if Genius actually scouts this, depends now, of course, now what exactly does he do? Does he only build 1 observer and sends it across the map? Then he might be in a wrong position as soon as those DT hits and still lose a lot. Or does he build 2 observers and have 1 close by, which is kind of unlikely at this point? and he
Squirtle
sends it round.
Yeah, Squirtle actually missed that pylon to the south as well, which is going to be a problem during a possible counterattack.
And look how it works out now. The DTs are just being warped in, and the Observer is already on the way to the bottom left. At the same time, he will, of course, move out with the Stalkers to use Blink and Blink up on the cliff. That's why he builds this in the first place. But if those DTs are just now moving in, then he will lose a lot in his main.
Yeah, and the problem for him as well, the question is, what will the DTs do? Will they target the Robo, try to prevent additional Observers? Will they go for probes? And the other thing is, Squirtle cannot use the DTs defensively because the Observer is with the army of Genius. He has no way of killing that Observer, so he needs to buy time with Force Fields, and he is not going to be able to actually hold this attack.
I don't think so either. There's just not enough. The army supply is kind of even, but the composition, that's where the things are completely different. The main base being obliterated by the Dark Templars, but at the same time, the blink in the main of Squirtle already occurred, but he is able to force him back here.
Yeah, and you know, that part of that comes with the probes. The offensive blink up made him vulnerable. He couldn't use Blink Stalker Micro.
Workers killed.
Yeah, this is starting to look like the DTs may actually be able to win out. After all, if he can kill that Observer in any way, then he will win the game, but that's not going to be an easy task. I think it may even be impossible. He's trying to set up the concave here.
But Wolf, he has 10 against 11 Stalkers, and yes, of course, Genius has the Guardian Shield up here. But at the same time, Squirtle can rely on his probes. He can warp in additional units. Genius has no way of winning this.
And he has Blink as well. This is going to be a win for Squirtle. It's starting to look like he tries to break up the ramp using his probes.
There is no chance for Genius. He's way behind now in the stock account.
Yeah,
with 7 to 12. His main base is gone. The DT play worked very well for Squirtle. He had the perfect timing in order to send the Dark Templar in the main base of his opponent.
And they're still alive.
Yeah, there was no way for Genius to spot them, to scout them, taken down. Very well played by Squirtle. Actually, a great build here.
GG. Showing that even if your opponent goes Robotics Tech, you can make those DT